Welcome back to the splitter. I've taken all the guards and covers off it because I broke it. And if you saw the last film I made on this, I was singing its praises and saying how brilliant it is. Well, I mean, it's been very good. And I said I thought I'd had it for 5 or 6 years, but actually I bought it 10 years ago. So since we do about 20 tons of wood a year, I guess, and we've used it a bit more than that, I'd say it's done at least 250 tons. So, you know, this is about the third minor kind of breakdown I've had with it. But while it's in pieces, I just want to show it to you because these kinetic splitters are quite popular in the States. You don't see a lot of them over here in the UK, but it's interesting how it works. So it has a petrol engine here, which is a Chinese copy of a Honda 6.5 horsepower engine. Pretty sure that actually does tell you. Yeah, 6.5 horsepower, and I thought it told you somewhere what it ran at, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. So there are 2 flywheels up at the top here, driven off a pulley and centrifugal clutch down here on the side of this little petrol engine, gasoline engine, if you're in the States. And the engine, you know, see, it's been very good. I mean, apart from the recoil starter, which, as you can see, looks new because it is new. That's the only thing on the engine, I think, that's broken. I've got a couple of these engines on other things. I got one on a water pump and another one on a track barrow. And when the carburettor failed on the track barrow one, I was going to get a kit to rebuild it. I think the kit was about 15 or 16 pounds and the whole carburettor was 19, so I just bought a new carburettor and put it on. I think the whole engine on one of these is somewhere around 200 pounds. It's cheap, but given that you know, you get what you pay for, you get quite a lot for what you pay for with this, because it has done a great deal of work. So, and it's still functioning great. You put a multi-grade oil in it, and it's about 0.6 of a litre, I think. And so if you change that every year, that's probably going to keep you out of trouble. Now, here's the rack on this, because this is a rack and pinion mechanism. So the engine is swinging these 2 flywheels, this one and this one, presumably, but are made to be pretty much the same weight, and whatever that is. They're made of cast iron, or at any rate this one is quite clearly cast iron, and it's a fairly crude casting, and this one appears to have been machined, probably out of cast iron. I don't know, there's probably a keyway in there. We've got 2 bearings either side of this carrier in the middle, and you need to grease those. There's a rather dirty grease nip on it, probably hasn't been done for a long time, one on the other side. So there's some sort of, well, that's going to be a ball bearing in there. And then we've got this long rod that travels down and eventually almost makes contact with the splitter at the end there. In order to get it to engage and move forwards, you use this lever to push this bar down, and it pushes the bar down on a pinion. Let's see if we can see it. There it is. There's the pinion hiding in there. And if I go down a little bit lower, you should get a better view of it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, now you can turn that round and inspect the teeth, and they're pretty good. The rack is just a linear gear. I said it's a straight gear, but well, it is really. It's a straight rod. So the idea is, of course, in basic terms, it's turning rotary motion into linear motion. And these flywheels rotate quite fast. So when you pull the handle down, the rack hits the pinion, and this ram here shoots forward along the bed and pushes the log through the splitter here. And it's as simple as that. You need to grease up the rack once in a while. I have sort of sprayed it and greased it with various things. It's a bit of a job to get to it when everything, all the covers are on it, but and you know, I see some models have got sort of plastic covering on them, which is probably quite good. And I think as long as you don't drop it, you know, the plastic covering would be fine. The only real reason you're going to drop it is because these wheels are ridiculously close together, and it is provided with a fixed tow hitch, and if you're towing it on uneven ground, it is quite likely to fall over. Like I say, I've had it fall over on me, and it weighs almost quarter of a ton, so you don't want it falling over. It's not a good idea. It didn't do the well, it bent that because that was attached to my truck, and but I did manage to lift it up. But you don't want to do that if you can avoid it. I think be quite handy actually to have a different carriage on that, so you could tow it on the road. I mean, these tyres are sort of flotation ATV tyres, and they're not designed for road use. They'd be illegal on the road, I think, and doesn't have any electrics for brake lights and stuff, and it doesn't have any mud guards or what you guys call fenders, I think, possibly. Anyway, also it has a better arrangement at the front with two legs, which is a bit more stable than that single tripod arrangement. Another thing that's worth bearing in mind with these is that if I go back a little bit, you can actually split straight onto the back of a pickup truck. We've got an old Isuzu, and if you take that tow bar off, this lip of this here sits over the tailgate of the Isuzu Rodeo. It is an old one. I don't know whether they made them any higher. It'll do it on some trucks, and it won't do it on others. But I think it'd probably do it on the Land Rover, and that's quite useful, because if you back that up to the back of a pickup truck, it's going to save you a lot of picking up. So anyway, this is what broke, and it's a bolt. I mean, it doesn't matter what head it's got on it. That's it, and that's the bit that broke. So it's sheared off at this end, and right where the end of the screw thread is, of course, like they always do. And you can see the wear around this part of it here has been running there, and that fits through this bracket here, and enables you to activate this lever, which is now just floating free. There's quite a big gap actually between the between these holes here at the bottom of the lever and this hole, which has got to be joined up. There's a hell of a gap. So what you've got to do is put a clamp on it and pull this down towards its position where it's in contact with the pinion. You can't get it any lower than that unless you take the whole thing to pieces, which which you can't do anyway because it's all welded together. So so presumably that that will be absolutely fine. What could go wrong? And here we got, you can see quite a crude kind of bearing here. They look like nylon bearings, and they're running along this bed. You can see it's a bit of wear there. So this this rack carries this end piece with it, and when you release that lever, you release the spring, which is in here. So I'm getting a bit of reflection, which looks like a spring, but actually it's my zip. So there's a spring in there, and that pops this back up off out of contact with the pinion gear, and then these two springs that are underslung here, they are supposed to pull the ram back. I need to replace those, really. They've got a bit weak, and you need to grease this bed a little bit as well. They give you a bit of plastic in there. I think they gave it to you. I don't think I put that in there. Although whether that runs all the way through, I'm not altogether sure, but you do need to put a bit of old oil or something like that on the bed here in order to give those springs a bit of a helping hand in pulling the ram back when you lift it off the pinion. We don't lift it off, it releases itself, as I was saying, and it comes back against these buffer stops here. So it's a pretty simple thing. This table too is very useful. They don't all have that. And I did mention in the last video that Bucking Billy Ray Smith, I think, on a Canadian or American YouTube site, doesn't really matter where it's from, does it? But if you look him up, you'll see him using one of these. Doesn't have a table on it, but he's using one of these, and he splits a whole cord of wood, which has been chopped into, I guess, lengths about half the length of that bed, and he chops that into firewood and a whole cord in 23 minutes. It's a good film. It's worth looking at, and he's very entertaining, knowledgeable bloke, and well worth looking at his videos. And yeah, they are a good machine, and they're very fast, and they're a lot cheaper than a hydraulic machine. They're faster than most hydraulic machines, although the big hydraulic machines, you can put a 4-way or even a 6-way splitter on that. But could you do it with this? I don't think it would work well with that, actually. I don't think I would even bother to try. It's fast enough just splitting it in one direction, and it's not so much about torque. It's more about that energy that's released out of the wheels, and yeah. Anyway, I can't show it to you operating. If you want to see it, if you want to see this one operating, go back to my last video, and you can see pretty well what it'll do. And there isn't much it won't split. Now and again you get somewhere where you think, oh, you know, I'll cut that with a chainsaw, but you might get to that stage with a hydraulic splitter, even the big ones, so it can happen. Okay, there we are, guys. That's just an update, and please like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for joining us.